Everybody needs to know what the most dangerous cities in the United States are. I mean, you don't want your kids setting up a lemonade stand in the middle of a turf war, right? So it's time to see what are the most dangerous US cities going into 2025. In this video, we are only looking at the major cities. We'll do the medium cities later on. A couple of cities have fallen off the list in recent years, like Chicago. They aren't even in the top 25 most dangerous anymore. They do have some of the most dangerous neighborhoods, but overall, they aren't that bad. So today, we look at the ones that are dangerous for lemonade stands and everyone else. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, New Orleans, Louisiana. Jazz, Mardi Gras, and burglaries. Welcome to the Big Easy, where the good times roll and so do the crime waves. With neighborhoods like Central City and the 7th Ward, New Orleans keeps things lively, to say the least. Sometimes a little too lively. Don't let the festivals fool you. When the party's over, the crime stats are still there. You gotta love their consistency. It's a real come for the gumbo and beads and stay for the police sirens situation. Now, earlier I'd said the 7th Ward is one of their most dangerous neighborhoods. Just last Saturday, a man had sprung some leaks in the 7th Ward. He didn't make it. The killing ended New Orleans' 18-day break in homicides, the longest murder-free streak since 2015. They made it 18 days. There are decent-sized cities in this country that haven't had a murder in like 20 years. I forget what town it was in Colorado. Years ago, I'd done a list, and I went back and I researched, for murders or something like that, because their crime rate was extremely low. Just like 2 or 3 years ago, the last murder they had there, they're not even sure if it was done there, but before it was a town, in the 1950s or 60s, they found a body buried there. Haven't had anything since then. But New Orleans has them all the time. Their violent crime rate is 291% above the national average. That means about 1,444 people are the victims of violent crime per 100,000 residents. Give you an idea how bad that is? The national average is 370 for every 100,000 people. Number 9, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is home to the Gateway Arch and a crime stat that's towering. You've got a 1 in 11 chance of running into trouble here. Downtown St. Louis is particularly famous for its high crime rate. But hey, it's not all bad. They had 160 homicides in 2023, which is actually an improvement from 2022 when they had 201 homicides. Got a bunch of slackers there. But I guess you can consider that a silver lining, maybe? St. Louis, for a while there, had this downtown regentrification thing, and things are starting to look a little bit better, but yeah, it's not really catching on like you'd hope it would. A new study named St. Louis University the most dangerous school in Missouri. That's what the experts say. Sophomore Troy Mitchell said from his hospital room, "I could have told you guys that." St. Louis, Missouri's violent crime rate is 298% above the national average. That's 1,472 violent crimes for every 100,000 people. Number 8, Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, the place known for barbecue so good that you'll forget all your problems. Unless one of those problems is crime that's surrounding you there, so you'll always have that on your mind. With a population of around 500,000, Kansas City's crime stat might make you choke on that burnt end sandwich. And when I say they have a population of around 500,000, that's just the city. The entire metro area has about 2.4 million people. But certain areas like the East Side have been known for their high levels of violent crime. I mean, a lot of violent crime. And while the city is trying to beef up its safety measures, it feels like a game of tug-of-war with crime pulling the hardest. So next time you're in KC, maybe focus on the barbecue and not the after-dark strolls. It's not just violent crime there, they got weird crime. A woman is accused of stealing over 1,000 candles from a Kansas City Bath and Body Works. How bad does your house stink that you're stealing that many candles? The violent crime rate in Kansas City, Missouri is 301% above the national average. That's about 1,481 per 100,000 people. Number 7, Oakland, California. Next stop, Oakland, known for tech, amazing food, and crime rates that could scare a burglar straight. It's a city of extremes. One minute you're at a food festival, the next you're clutching your wallet. Oakland, though, is trying to get it together, but fighting crime here is like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube where the colors keep changing. One of the biggest problems they have is the homeless situation in Oakland. If you ever watch Nick Johnson, he did a great thing about a year ago on all the different camps and up and down the west coast of homeless camps, and he talked to some of the people there. It's great stuff. Anyway, Anyway, they're trying to clean all that up right now. So here's a tip if you move to Oakland. Make sure you're always aware. Make sure you're always aware of your surroundings, aware of house fires, aware of bath and body shops in case your house stinks. One nice story coming out of Oakland this week, actually from last week, a boy that was abducted in 1951 while playing in an Oakland park with his brother. Now, 7 decades later, he's been found thanks to the help of one of those online ancestry test things, old photos and newspaper clippings. Sadly, his biological mother passed away in 2005. But Oakland, California has always been known for their crime rates. Their violent crime rate right now is 311% above the national average. That's about 1,521 violent crimes per every 100,000 residents. We'll get back to that after a brief message from today's sponsor, Aura. As someone who spends a lot of time online, it's important for me to know where my information is and who's got it. If you do a quick Google search of your name, you'll get an idea of who's got your information, and that's uncomfortable. There are these people out there called data brokers, and they sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who wants to target you. This is how they make their money, and they keep getting better. Your full name, email, home address, health records, and your relatives, it's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Clearing this information will help with spam and lowering the risk that someone's getting your information. They need to hack your online life. Hackers can get into your bank account, your social media accounts, and get a hold of other sensitive information. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without downloading several different apps. It's very easy to set up, and best of all of this comes at an affordable price that sometimes is what you would pay for a single service. Most of us have very hectic lives, and it's good to have Aura on your side. You might have 1 or 2 of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking your front door and leaving your back door wide open. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to aura.com/Briggs to start your 2-week free trial. There's also a link below in the description area. That's aura.com/Briggs to start your free trial. Now back to the video. Number 6, Baltimore, Maryland. Yep, Baltimore's been on this list for quite some time, and here they are again. I think actually they've moved down the list. Last time we did this 2 years ago, they were number 4. They call it Charm City, more like Alarm City, with a population of about 550,000 residents and a violent crime rate so high you'd think the city has a program to make it worse and not better. Right now, the Baltimore Police Department is sharing a video looking for 2 guys that were involved in a shooting. How they haven't found these guys yet, the video is pretty, if you know these guys, you know who they are. And yes, a few friends might hide your identity and not rat you out, but everyone knows someone that'll just go, I'll give them a call. This city has been fighting crime like Rocky Balboa in a never-ending rematch. Most people only know Baltimore from a football game or something, or the Orioles, or the show The Wire. Now, The Wire was good and it was based in Baltimore, not because their crime rate was incredibly bad, it's just the guy that wrote the show, he was familiar with Baltimore. I'm not saying it's not bad, it is. And I hate bringing up shows because whenever I do, someone's gonna leave a comment, oh, he's basing his information off a TV show. No, use your brain before you leave a comment. They used to have these commercials back in the day, and it was really about drugs, but it said a brain is a horrible thing to waste. I mean, that goes out to not just people doing drugs, that goes out to everyone. Use your brain, everyone, that's why it's there. Baltimore's violent crime rate is 320% above the national average. That's about 1,553 violent crimes per every 100,000 people. Number 5, Birmingham, Alabama. Southern hospitality? More like Southern danger. Birmingham's got a violent crime rate that is ridiculous. North Central Birmingham, Ensley, and Jones Valley are hotspots for everything you don't want to be involved in, like getting mugged, getting shot, getting stabbed, being run over by a stolen car. So if you're thinking about a Southern getaway, you might want to rethink that whole charm thing going on in Birmingham. Birmingham, though, is known for its civil rights movement back in the day. Lately, they're known for a mass shooting they had, which of course now all you get to read about is Alabama gun laws. The violent crime rate in Birmingham, Alabama is 335% above the national average. That breaks down to about 1,682 violent crimes per every 100,000 people. Number 4, Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland rocks, not in a good way. With a population of about 360,000 residents, you got a pretty high chance of being involved in a violent crime here. Like, alarmingly high. It's like winning the lottery you don't want to be involved with. Cleveland is a tough town with a colorful past. Remember the river caught fire? Oh yeah, not the docks, not the boats on the river, the actual water caught fire. How does that happen, you ask? Well, it was so polluted, I don't know what the percentages were, but it had to have been about 25% chemicals at that point. It's insane. The good news is Cleveland's getting a little bit better. Not much, but they're moving in the right directions. I mean, their baseball team, the Guardians, are even going to the playoffs for a change. They haven't had any mind-blowing kidnappings in a while either. Yeah, the Cleveland kidnappings, that was just ugly. Remember that? Those poor 3 girls and that Ariel Castro idiot? I went to the local news to check out Cleveland to see what was going on there, give you a story of things that are happening. It's all about how bad the Browns are doing, which is not an uncommon thing this time of year in Cleveland. Cleveland, Ohio has a violent crime rate that is 336% above the national average. That breaks down to about 1,694 for every 100,000 people. Number 3, Little Rock, Arkansas. Little Rock may sound quaint, but don't let the name fool you. It's packing some big crime stats. This is a capital city that only has about 200,000 residents. The entire metro area has around 750,000. Arkansas isn't just about southern charm, fishing trips, and dating your cousin jokes. The capital city has neighborhoods where you might want to pack more than just a picnic basket. Downtown Little Rock and parts of South End are places where it can get a little dicey after dark. And while the city's working to improve, for now, consider it a proceed with caution destination. Just keep your head up and your belongings close, you'll probably be okay. It wasn't okay for a man 4 days ago. He got his off button pushed early, and a juvenile was injured during a shooting. The crime rate's so bad there that the local police department is asking businesses and people to register their video cameras, like security cameras, with the city so they could take a look at them all the time to see who's doing what. They say it's to aid in criminal investigations. Little Rock, Arkansas has a violent crime rate that is 396% above the national average. That breaks down to about 1,833 per every 100,000 residents. Number 2, Detroit, Michigan. There's our old pal Detroit. Detroit, I'd say the last 2 years has kind of turned the corner and they're coming back. Sadly, it's mostly just downtown Detroit that's turning it around. A lot of the neighborhoods around downtown need a lot of work. Detroit was once the heartbeat of the American auto industry. Now it's where crime rates go to break records. Detroit's seen better days, and it's still trying to bounce back. Violent crime? Through the roof. Property crime? Even worse. It's the kind of place where you lock your doors just driving through. Let's hope the city can rebuild itself, but for now, it's earned the second spot on the most violent crime rate in the United States. Now, what's strange about this, I shouldn't say strange, what's something you should know about this one is a few years ago we did this list, and it was number 1, and Detroit was well above the next one on that list. I mean, they were breaking records. So they've actually dropped down to number 2, which is a good thing. I know it's hard to understand. They're number 2 on the most violent city list, but that's better. Progress. New data published by the FBI this week saw that 2023 in Detroit hit its highest rate of hate crimes ever. Now, race-related violent crimes jumped up, but so did LGBTQ+ community. They saw an increase of 7%. Detroit has a violent crime rate that is 448% above the national average. That's insane. That breaks down to about 2,028 violent crimes per every 100,000 people. All right, before we get to number 1, I just want to remind you guys to hit that like button. Please share this video if you feel like it, and leave me a comment. It really helps out the channel. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Memphis, Tennessee. Yes, Memphis, Tennessee, where your dreams, your hopes, and your desires go to die, along with a lot of close friends. They're dropping like flies in Memphis. The blues aren't the only thing Memphis is known for. With a crime rate that is astronomically high above the national average, this is the kind of place where even Elvis might think twice before leaving Graceland if he was still alive. If you're cruising down Beale Street, be sure to keep one eye on the music and the other eye on your surroundings. Now, Beale Street, I wouldn't say is safe, but they do keep pretty good lockdown on it because that's a major tourist attraction. Stay around that area if you visit. The police are fighting an uphill battle here. I mean, their crime rate's playing the same old tune. Just keeps getting worse. They did do one really good thing in Memphis, which I thought was amazing. The old Sears building that was there for like 70 years. They turned it into the Crosstown Concourse, which is a giant apartment building. They're calling it a vertical village. Every city has so many empty buildings like this, and every city has problems with housing. You know, it's like, it's right there. There's your solution in front of you. At least not for all the problems, at least for some of the problems. I know there's a lot more that goes into it. You don't need to tell me, but it just seems like there's the beginning of the solution for most cities' problems right now. Memphis has a violent crime rate that is 555% above the national average. That breaks down to about 2,421 violent crimes for every 100,000 people. All right, that's today's video. If you like this video, you'll probably like one of the two being suggested right now. Why don't you click on one of them? Go ahead, I'll wait. All right, everyone, have a great day. Be nice to each other.